the iPhone you bought, if you bought it from the company, if the iPhone, there's a manual there, but many of us have never read it. There's always a manual for every product we get, but that manual was written by a writer, a technical writer, and stuff like that. So also, if you are getting like JavaScript or one documentation, you are using a new product, what's the first thing you do? You read their documentations, am I right? How many of us can relate? You run into a problem and then you run back to the documentation for the company to go and check. And then there are sometimes you are even lost because the documentation is not well detailed. So that's the work of a technical writer. So technical writing is simply the act of providing detail-oriented instruction to help users understand the specific skills or products. So technical writing has different categories. We have API and user documentation, where you are documenting how the API works, depending on the company that you are working. And then we have how-to guides. That one is common on free code camp. How many of us have seen that? So many of us, maybe you want to, like myself, when I wanted to get started with data science, the first thing I went to type was be how to be that, and that's something that we are all familiar with. So you go and you read content, and there are other documentations that we just read. So the next slide, please. So now I'm going to be talking about the role of AI in technical writing. So AI has played a very important role because right now you can write a full article in less than 24 hours, and you just even take you a lot of energy. Unlike before when you had to think and think and think. So now, number one, it enhances productivity and efficiency. As I said, I'm a technical writer, and one of the things I do before I start writing a technical article is I take the topic after doing my research, and then I drop it to ChatGPT and I said, please provide a outline for me for these topics in this space. Appearances are very important when it comes to technical writing. So there are times when after writing, I just kind of look by some of the subheadings and I say, okay, this check for grammatical error, change the passive to active and active to passive, depending on what I'm writing. So these are the ways AI has also helped. And also streamlining the editing and proofreading process, I've said that ensuring consistency in style and terminology. So like the way you start with something, let's say you start your technical writing with, oh, this has affidavit, this has affidavit. And then somewhere in the line you just forget and then you switch to the readers. So stuff like that, strategic can by helping you edit those things out. So also accelerating the creation of technical documentation. So all those things are one of the major effects they have had with technical writing. So now we're going to talk about annotation of technical here. And number one there is like original. How, no matter how dependent we are, you cannot write an original because I was trained on something. Am I free? So if you have ChatGPT now, I see that ChatGPT is on the that's like the second question. So you ask ChatGPT right now, okay, write something on this. You discover that most of what is writing is wrong. It was trained with, it really does not have a mind of its own. And number two, is that no matter how ridiculous it does not have storytelling and emotions that the real writer has. The real writer means that, oh, when you were writing, when you were going through this book, you're going to see a red button, you're going to see, and you're going to run into this error, and that's because this and that is that. But if I just go straight to the point and say, just do this and you get that, as an S, it's usually wrong. And also, so the contents most of the times are out of date. Google Bag is doing well, but they are not as strong as the so it's still out of date content. Next slide. And so now to the question, to the reason why we're here, will AI replace technical writing? Anyone? What's your, do you think AI will replace technical writer? Yes or no? 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 Okay. So, it's actually a yes and no because AI will only replace technical writers that don't know how to use AI. So that's just the catch of it. Like people that don't know how to use AI are the ones that will replace it. So AI right now is a tool that you need to upskill and you need to have to use it. So this lady here, Lauren Wilford, was actually she was a translator for so, so when Google Translate appeared, and then now you can speak and translate to whatever language you want. Now that has taken a job because she does half of the job now because people can only do story there. You see how they are translated. So now we need to understand that the text is evolving. There's always going to be need for better and faster speed. No matter how emotionally tied you are, you cannot, because of that, for something slower. You have to, you have to do for something faster. So if you have a startup position and AI can do the job because it's just the right thing to go for. Yeah, save cost. So that's just what this life is all about right now. So it's important to note that some technical writing rules definitely protected. So some rules that involve updating and just writing just how to do content and all that. It will be updated as long as the AI is trained on what you are making it write about. The next slide, please. So as I said, continuously new tools are introduced that automate certain aspects of your jobs on a daily basis, and so that without adapting and scaling your skills, it's impossible that these tools will eventually automate the entire job, leaving you prepared. How many of us are familiar with Power Automate? We are familiar with Power Automate International. So you discover that before Power Automate came, there are times, especially when it comes to certificate generation and all that, one woman somewhere in the corner of the room wearing a scarf or something just has to be the one that manually writes those certificates. But with Power Automate now, within minutes you can generate certificates for about 100 people at once and all. So imagine if that woman did not scale up, she did not learn how to use that tool, she just lost her job. So that's one thing we need to understand, that we are looking for ways to get faster results. Like, we are living in a fast world. So fast food, fast results, and that's is going to continue to affect the decision making when it comes to AI. So but as this happens, technical writing as a field will evolve, requiring us to adapt to new forms and approach. And one of the approach, please the next slide, the next slide, please. So one of the approaches, what we call interactive writing. Interactive writing is when you're actually writing and you are seeing the result of what you are writing. How many of us have used probably the educative platform before? Yeah. So you see that there are sometimes when they have a code editor in the place, a lot of, so as you are writing the code, you are seeing the results straight where the article is written. So those kind of interactive writing, AI cannot do that job. AI cannot replace that. So till then, that is why it is very important that this man said the key to a long time career in technical writing is awareness and adaptability. So you need to be able to know the tools that are invoked. Now, before this, we all had to sit down and write an article for 2 3 days. But now, with the introduction of AI, a lot of AI, after you using ChatGPT to work on some things, you take it to Qbot, you take it to another bot and all to produce something meaningful and useful, and then you get paid for it. So said, um, the next slide, please. Okay, I think that's all. So, there are ways to actually get started with technical writing. I just wanted to chip that in. It's not on my slide. So, one of the ways to actually get started with technical writing is actually to pick a niche. You pick a niche, and focus on that niche. Actually, you cannot write on something you don't know about, right? Yeah. So you need to focus on the niche, and probably you when you were learning whatever it is you're learning, maybe you're learning Python, you ran into an error, you write on it. You write on it and then you post it on maybe dev.to, Hashnode, or Medium, on your Medium account. So any error you run into, any new thing you learn, you just write on it. So the more you write, the better you become. The more you write, the better you become. The more you write, the better you become. So, and after writing on it, then you can now start focusing on companies that have products that are aligned with what you know. So if you, let's say you're a data scientist, and then you're looking for companies that are focused on data science, then you start looking at companies like Honeyhive, um, Comet, Giscard, and all those kind of companies that have products that kind of align with what you know, and then you can apply to be a technical writer for them, and then you can get paid for your skills. So, I think that would be all. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Okay, so I'll just recap what he said. So he talked about communities for technical writers, like communities to join so as to keep up with the trend. And he also talked about other tools apart from ChatGPT that you can use to actually improve your technical writing skills. So for the communities, I think there is a community I belong to on WhatsApp. It's called Tech Writers Global, and then they drop hints, probably job openings for technical writers, and they also help with like articles that can improve your technical writing skills, like all those kind of things. And also on YouTube, there's a guy called, I think it's Joshua. He runs a YouTube channel called Technical Writing HQ. So that guy is a senior technical writer with years of experience, and you can just go through his channel, and you're going to discover a lot of content that is going to help your technical writing skills. Thank you. Next question, please.
Okay. I'm going to come back to 1 minute. All right. Thank you for the session. You mentioned how that our writings or our technical, I mean, for someone starting out, you want to practice your technical writing skills. Um, you mentioned we can host it on platforms like Medium, Hashnode. So I'm thinking, can we, for instance, I write one article and I wanted to, did you get me? I was saying that you mentioned how that we can host our technical write ups on. platforms like Medium, Hashnode, and the likes. So I'm saying, can, for instance, I write one article, can I host it on two, three different platforms? Okay.
So yes, she asked about if you can post your articles on two or three different platforms, and the answer is yes. There's something called a canonical link. So with the help of a canonical link, you can actually post what you posted on Medium. You can go to dev.to and post it, and you just have to. It's actually going to state there that it's a canonical link, meaning you've posted it on one other platform before. And I didn't answer the question from the first person. He was asking for other tools apart from ChatGPT. Personally, I think Grammarly goes a long way, and Qbot also helps. So those two right now have Grammarly, Qbot, ChatGPT. Those two can help you with your technical writing skills to improve your writing.
Okay, so my question is just brief. How do you keep up with trends in technical writing? And can you list some of the tools you use in technical writing? And I have a personal question. What kind of technical documents are you used to writing? Is it API docs? Is it user guides? Is it installation guides? And what kind of tools do you use? For API docs, do you use Postman or Swagger? Thank you.
So yeah, I don't write API documentations. I'm more of use like products, how to use a particular product. That is more of the content I focus on. So if a company has a new product, I write on how new users can use that particular product and how to install and all those kind of things. And also if there's a new topic right now, large language models is a big thing in the data space right now. So topics like that are stuffs I focus on. And for tools, I think I mentioned tools that can help you improve is ChatGPT, Qbot, Google Bard, um, and Grammarly. Those two can help you with your writing so that you don't make mistakes, and it can also help you improve on how your writing sounds to people. And also for the communities, I mentioned there are communities on Twitter that helps technical writer, and I think there are times. How many of us have joined a boot camp that was organized by Bumi Akinremi? Bumi Akinremi, yeah, she organized a boot camp that helped people get started with technical writers. So stuffs like that are what help, that can help improve on your technical writing skills.
Okay, so we have a very short time. I'm going to take like three more questions. So who has any question? Okay, so let me pick someone from there.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yep, my question is on plagiarism. Like when you copy, when you go to AI like ChatGTP or Bard and copy a thing, paste to Qbot, edit and all that. So how is your level of plagiarism on that? How does Qbot help with plagiarism?
Okay. All right. Let's get to your question.
Yeah, so my question is that for someone just starting out with technical writing, what frequency of writing do you suggest for a start? Like how many times do you have to write a week or publish? Yeah.
Last so sorry.
Okay, good morning. I have two questions. How does technical writing for digital platform differ from traditional one? Then, what are the factors that we should consider when adapting content for online consumptions? When adapting content for online consumptions, what are the factors we should consider when adapting content for online consumption? consumptions.
So to the first question asked how how plagiarism with keyboards, copy content from ChatGPT put on keyboards. Well, you need to understand that the content on if you put whatever content ChatGPT gives you and you put it in a plagiarism checker, how many of us have even done that before? What did it give you? Yeah. If you use Turnitin, it will do that. But if you use a regular plagiarism checker, it will actually be reading about 80% unplagiarized, like it's a new content kind of thing. But the thing is, the content you get from ChatGPT, you need to be able to like fine tune it to what you actually want. So personally, what I do is having after doing my research on whatever I'm writing on, I write it plain in maybe medium and whatever, and then I now give it to ChatGPT to refine that thought. Because if you just take what ChatGPT gives you, that most of the times is not always correct, especially when it has to do with new technologies that was not around when the ChatGPT was developed. So what you can just do with that is just to you can just understand what you want to write about. After understanding what you want to write about, then you can now write on it, then give ChatGPT to help refine it, to avoid plagiarism or any of those things. So to the next question. The next question. Who has the next question? Okay, so she asked about if you're just getting started with technical writing, what aspects, what niche? Well, I would say it depends on what motivates you, like what interests you actually. So for me, I was already in the data space. I was a scientist before I got into technical writing. So I've been working on some data things, writing. We started it import pandas, PD, and all those things. So I already had experience of how the data space work a bit before I launched into technical writing. So that was what me I focused on. But if you are just coming in as a technical writer, like you need to just pick a niche, either it's front end or there are people that are just JavaScript technical writers. They write on anything JavaScript, and there's some they just focus on React, how React can do this, how React can do this, how React can do this. How many of us we are familiar with Dillion? Dillion's work. Yeah, so Dillion is actually, if you check his articles, you see he writes on JavaScript and all those kind of things. And so it just depends on what interests you and what you understand more. So what if you understand? I'm coming, please. If you understand JavaScript more, you can write on it. So you said something about how we can tune it for online consumption. Yeah. So um, I'm trying to remember your question. I'm so sorry. Okay. This- Okay. So technical writing for the data space is different from the traditional one because right now I write for Comet, and Comet is a tracking product. It's used to track your machine learning models, and it's different from Giscard, which is used to actually check your models for accuracy, to check on something is correct. So those two products are different. After running a machine learning model through them, you analyze what you get, and then you that's what you write on. So it's completely different from when you are building something with JavaScript, or and then you have to write something on webhook. I don't know much on JavaScript, but just like that. And how you can fine tune it, you just need to, number one, you need to know the people you are writing this thing for. You are writing it for your fellow data scientists or data engineers, and then your content needs to be aligned with whatever you're writing. Let's say you are writing on oh, machine learning, this, building a machine learning model to predict this, and then you have to build a model and explain step by step how it works, that even someone that does not have idea how machine learning works, they can relate to what you're writing on. Thank you.